Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Khepera, Kearse, and Erica Ford. Welcome, guys.
Peace.
Welcome,
Peace.
Kearse.
Good morning. How are you?
Everything's great.
Tell us about this great thing that y'all have, the Life Camp Mobile RV.
Life Camp.
To heal gun-related trauma.
Yes. It's a 35-foot orange Peacemobile that we bring to different neighborhoods. It has a recording studio in the back so that we can allow young people or people in general to put their pain on beats. It's got a punching bag so that you could knock it out instead of shooting somebody out. We have a whole therapeutic area, which we call Khepera's Kitchen, which we teach people how to be more alkaline as opposed to acidic. And we have like a couch and a whole where we have healing circles, healing conversations with parents and families who've lost their loved one. And we use it as a thing, one, because some people can't come to certain sides of town, and two, we want to bring peace to people, help it be more marketable, help it, come right to you, as well as give you a vehicle to mediate and intervene in conflicts right there when it's happening.
I love it, man, because I've been saying for the longest that I feel like trauma, that's something we never deal with as people. We don't allow ourselves to heal, so we end up just redistributing that pain and that hurt to people that look just like us.
Yes.
Right.
How did you get, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
was gonna
okay.
ask, how did you guys get started in this?
So I've been doing this work for 30 years. And I was just talking to the sister, and I was saying that I've been in so many shootouts in my life that it just became normal, right? She was telling me about a shootout that she was in, and I was like, damn, I didn't ever even realize that I've been in so many shootouts. And one, the fact of it becoming normal can't be a reality for us. And two, what happens to our young people after they lose a loved one? They kind of stop living, like you said. And I wanted to create something different. And so I had the Code Foundation, which we started with Tupac around putting the code to the streets. And then it elevated into Life Camp. And now we presented a concept to the mayor's office under the Mayor Bloomberg, and it was adopted. It started with 5 sites and $5 million, and now it has elevated to 22 sites and $36 million. And so out of that, we kept pushing for the Peacemobiles and the mobile trauma units, and now he just funded 5 of them to go in each.
So you have 5 units now.
There's 5 mobile trauma units, yeah.
Now, how do they travel? Do you just go in specific areas at different times, or?
So I got the Queens one. Brother Brownsville Think Tank That Matters has the Brooklyn one. Street Corner Resources has the Harlem one. True to Life has the Staten Island one, and Release the Grip has the Bronx one. And so they cover each of us cover our area, and then at different times, like the Labor Day parade or things like that, we'll all come together. But we basically go to where crime is high, where we know the people have the highest potential to shoot somebody or be shot.
So besides having the truck out there, do you guys actively jump out there to try to piece things up, or is it one of those things that's like, nah, you ain't going that far?
KK?
Well, actually, I was going to let Erica speak to that because I'm Director of Therapeutic Wellness Services, but I will say that Erica, as one of the architects of the New York City Crisis Management System, each of our organizations has what we call credible messengers. And those are people who have credibility in the street, who've turned their lives around. And those are the people that young people will listen to so that if there is a shooting or an incident of violence, they can help squash a beef, prevent retaliation, or sometimes prevent the beef from popping off before it starts.
I was saying that the other day, I'm so used to hearing gunshots and so into seeing shootouts that it's sad, but it doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me anymore, which is a bad thing. You hear gunshots before as a kid, you'd run, you get low, oh my gosh, but now it just doesn't feel that
Think
anymore.
about how when we was young, how normal it was for us to get dressed to go to the club and bring our gun. Yeah. And then as you get older, you like, why am I going to this club if I gotta bring a gun?
But so
carry a gun in my shoe,
you raise a really valid point, right? Most people are subconsciously in survival mode. So everything you do, every time you take an action or a thought, your brain releases hormones. So if you're living in an environment where there's a lot of gunfire, or if there's just the stress of work or the stress of life, your brain is releasing stress hormones, right? And you know them as cortisol and adrenaline. But if you don't actually fight or flee and release those hormones, they build up in the body. And most black people, most black and brown people suffer from PTSD because it's from cumulative stress. It's from stress that happens over time. And so when you're constantly releasing those stress hormones, your body stays in a state of survival mode because it's triggering that part of the brain that triggers your instinct to want to pop off. So most people are actually living in that state, and it's not physically, it's not good for your well-being to constantly be in a state of survival mode because the smallest thing can trigger you. So the first thing we do from a physical perspective is help to get the body alkaline. So I love that you talk about stillness. Our grandmothers had the most prophetic saying, go somewhere and sit down and be still, right? And sitting and being still is where it's at. But most people don't even know how to sit still. So that's partially because of what's in the body. The blood is poisoned from all the processed foods. So think about your typical meal. Most people are eating starch, which gets really hard like paper mache, mucus from dairy, and meat. And it's not to take you off your diet, but just to understand balance, right? What is a typical breakfast? Bacon, egg, and cheese, that's starch, mucus, and dairy, right? Starch, dairy, and flesh. Or bagel and cream cheese, what's a typical lunch? Hamburger and french fries, pizza. What's a typical dinner? Chicken, macaroni, and cheese. Where's the life in those meals? So anything that contains water contains life. So fruits and vegetables naturally contain water. And if you just balance out your meal with more alkaline foods, it helps to actually regulate the body. So things like that we do on the Peace Mobile, teaching families how to make little tonics and smoothies just to make the kids' bodies more alkaline because they don't know what's happening. And starch heats up the body, so you're either going to be heated or you're going to be hot. Wow. It makes you want to F or F, to fight or fornicate, so to speak. And so that's one of the things we do on a physical level, in addition to yoga and meditation. And Erica can tell you about the Urban Yogis program, which is phenomenal, and what she did to turn some young people's lives around.
So tell us.
So I was actually at a forum with Russell and Deepak Chopra, and it was I was first time hearing about yoga and meditation, and I told Deepak that shit is for white people. It ain't for us in the hood. Like, we don't do no yoga and meditation, right? And so he was like, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. And I was like, well, bring that shit to the hood then, And he did. And he came out to the hood and he worked with a group of young people from Baisley Projects. And he worked with them every month. And they became urban yogis, and they were teased, they were harassed, but they kept going, And now they're professional yoga trainers. They work with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They worked with the Chicago Bulls and did a yoga program out in Chicago. They do yoga in the middle of the projects, and they got like real jobs now. And they've helped kind of change the cycle of some of the violence that has been happening in Baisley Projects and around Baisley Projects, because now a lot of the young people are into physical fitness. They're doing different things. They got real jobs as opposed to continuing the legacy of their fathers, actually.
How's the projects looking now? Because you mentioned Baisley Projects, and I think I was in Southside maybe a month or so ago, and Southside totally changed.
Thank you.
It was no longer a hood.
Thank you.
It was a lot of older white ladies walking their dogs.
You must got a Whole Foods.
Starbucks
somewhere.
Nah, you made a wrong turn.
What is that doing to our people? Where are they putting our people in? Because I mean that means that the other hoods that you're naming have to be overcrowded, overpopulated.
Yeah. So they haven't moved in yet to Jamaica, Queens like that. But crime has gone down tremendously. We have had up to 4 years with no one being killed in South Jamaica. We went up to, in our target area, we went up to 562 days with nobody being shot.
Wow.
And those things happened. Like, prior to us coming in, there was 4 people killed a year, 17 people shot a year. And so those numbers are real lives, on both sides of the guns. And so we've been doing tremendous amount of work inside. And so Baisley Projects is the safest housing development in New York City right now. And we remember a time when Baisley Projects produced nothing but.
What's the worst?
Right. And so the work works. And when we talk about, continuing a marathon or investing in the streets, this is really what people need to do. We need to help, because the whole game, we talk about the 80s and the whole drug game and its impact, people are still healing from it,
Absolutely.
or still victims from it. And so we have to put things and invest things that can help these young people change, because either they're going to jail or the graveyard, and we don't want them to go to neither one, And so we provide free lawyers, we provide the therapeutic services, we provide jobs, we provide counseling and mentorship and different opportunities to turn young people's lives around. And the Peace Mobile just allows it to take us closer to more people.
How can gun trauma affect an entire family and community?
So you think about one person being shot. That one person being shot directly impacts the parent, because now you're talking about, outside of the immediate stress, you're talking about the hospital bills, you're talking about potential legal fees depending on what happened, or even bail in some cases if the victim was also involved in something else. You're talking about the people who witnessed it, who might have been down the block or across the street, who live in the neighborhood, who constantly see it, and now they create this subconscious agreement that it's not safe where they live. You talk about the siblings who have to watch their sibling recover or even be a part of the recovery process. If the person is paralyzed, then you're talking about home care. So you're not only impacting, one bullet can impact a whole family. We have an employee who his son was murdered. And because of the death of his son, his wife died of a broken heart.
Wow.
Black women suffer, they are the largest population to suffer from heart disease, because most women carry the stress in the heart. And so the daughter, because of the death of her brother and her mother, she developed a rare autoimmune disease from the extreme stress, and she died. So this one father lost 3 family members because of one bullet, and then the impact on every institution, hospitals, the schools, the police. So it also costs, one life costs so much. But then, Charlamagne, you talk about intergenerational trauma. Talk about the fact that even from slavery, there's never been like therapeutic services after slavery. It's like, okay, you're free, now go forth, There's never been anything after the Jim Crow era, civil rights. And now today, everywhere you look on social media, another Black man, another Hispanic or Latino, another person is being killed. So you're constantly getting that programming, right? And so over time, what that does is it actually affects the psyche. And as you know, because I know you do a lot of work in this area, it becomes epigenetic. So people talk about, oh, my son has my face, like you have a beautiful family, MV, and they have your features, right? So you inherit traits, like character traits, traits like your physical traits, but you also inherit states of being. And so if you're constantly passing on the generational trauma of violence, whether it's violence in the home, violence in your mind, anger, there's something called epigenetics where it can shift your DNA. So you can be born with the propensity to be violent, angry, or have those stress symptoms. So one of the things we teach also, because we're unconventional with it, we don't have time to sit on a couch for 3 years and go all the way back to the first time you can remember something. We have to heal right now. And we know that miracles happen in an instant. And so one of the things that we've learned and that we teach is that most emotional upset, first of all, upset is your Setian lower forces coming up, right? Most emotional disturbance comes from making it about yourself. I can't believe you would say that to me, right? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, this brother's trying to get at me, right? And so, or I can't believe he cheated on me. When you make it about yourself, that's when you actually cause the emotional disturbance. Because the two of you could say the same thing to me, but you're the only one that I would make it mean something. And Jay-Z has a line, what you eat don't make me shit, right? It's actually a brilliant line, because why should something that you do towards me, unless you physically touch me, why would I then cause myself emotional distress and release all those stress hormones that are going to destroy my body? Why would I want to make myself sick for something you did? So we teach people the science of the mind. Just like understanding how a car works, you got to understand how the subconscious works. So when we teach people how to shift what they make that mean, it actually stops people from responding and reacting to everything around them.
Yeah, don't take things personal.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when people do something to you, it's not has nothing to do with you. It's
Nothing to
them.
do with them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What about the PTSD that comes from just being around gun violence? Like how we talk about when you're in these neighborhoods and we hear gunshots, or we might see people getting shot. Like, how do we deal with that anxiety and trauma?
So again, PTSD is cumulative stress. Like you said, 1 in 3 Black people have PTSD. And that could be the inability to sleep, could be your hair falling out. It could be just erratic behavior or constantly feeling worried or nervous. And so we teach different things from the physical stimulation. Aromatherapy is real simple. You know, just getting essential oils. We use a lot of lavender. You can put that on the pillow at night or just rub it between your hands and breathe in. You know, we teach people breath work and breath techniques. And again, we teach people how to shift the body, because when you're stressed, you go to emotional eating. So if you crave like crunchy, salty, fried things, it's usually because a lot of times, even if you're just eating it and you're not hungry, it's because you have repressed anger or you have unexpressed emotion.
That's me.
Word. That's why I laughed, because I was like, that's all I be.
Yes, you just popping chips, you need
French
something
fries and potato
salty.
chips.
So we teach people the science of food, because again, the body is like a great car. We put so much time and energy into understanding how a car works, but not how the body and how the mind works. We know how to work the physicality, but not the mind. So for us, knowledge is power. And when you learn the science behind things, it's like, oh, wow, okay, what's really going on? Because I'm just popping these chips. I just busted down this entire pint of Haagen-Dazs, and I wasn't even hungry.
I realize I do that at the airport a lot. For whatever reason, the plane, like, it just stresses me out. Like, I always got to go buy chips, and I don't even eat that stuff unless I'm at the airport.
Right. So then you want to ask yourself, what am I scared of? What in this moment am I dealing with? And so being present is important, because most people are not present. They're either worried about the past or afraid of the future. So you getting on the plane is the fear, and it's so subtle and so quick that your mind automatically goes to that trigger response, because you've cultivated the habit of generating some fear around getting on the plane. So the first thing you can do is focus on being present. If that means listening to some music, doing something tactile that you enjoy, art is often good, or reading something, but just being present in the moment, because most of the time you're thinking about the future. And if you practice that, it's like working a muscle. Over time, you'll be so present. Stuff's gonna come, things are gonna trigger you, but you can get off of it faster, or you can process it quicker.
Now, how can people donate and add to the cause if possible?
So you can text Peace is a Lifestyle.
All in for peace.
All in for peace. That's all in and the number 4 peace. And you can text that to 51555. So again, text to 51555, and the language is all in for peace. Or you can go to peaceisalifestyle.com and donate on the website.
And how can they find the truck if they want to find the truck? Is there anywhere they can look, or do they have to just search for it? Like, how can they get to find the truck?
So once we start, it depends. If we're dealing with a sensitive situation, we would probably not want people to find the truck. They become knocking on the window, you doing the mediation and stuff. But we'll be having the events and where we are on our website and social media. All our social media is Life Camp Inc.
Life Camp Inc. Well, we appreciate you for joining us, and we appreciate what you guys are doing
I
for the
actually was
community.
on it, was that a month ago?
Yeah,
Maybe it's incredible.
Y'all should come downstairs and check it out. We have it parked out front.
Okay.
Nick, you gonna take the camera down there? Sure. Word.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.